What's up, everybody? This is Roman Gennaro from Empire Sports Talk, back to talk about another division breakdown, and this time I want to talk about the NFC South. Let's do it. So, this one's pretty cut and dry. It's a two-team race at the top of this thing, and then the last two are, and number one, the team I have winning the NFC South is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do think this is a two-team division, and I believe that first team is Tampa Bay. This is the most proven roster in the division. The Bucs have been in the playoffs the last couple of years. Baker Mayfield has had a resurgent time in Tampa Bay. I do believe with some of the older players, such as Godwin and Mike Evans, that there is still some residual culture left over from the Tom Brady Super Bowl. I love Todd Bowles. They also signed Sterling Shepard and Levante David and Hassan Reddick as an edge rusher. I think this team is proven and ready to go, and I think they will make the playoffs. The only other team that I think could challenge them is kind of the flashy pick this year in the NFC South, which is the Atlanta Falcons. They're obviously taking a step forward without Kirk Cousins. They're going to Michael Penix first time. We don't know what he's going to be in his first full year as a starter. We saw some really good things out of him at the end of last season. I love Raheem Morris as their head coach. I think we still need to see a huge step forward from Kyle Pitts, in my opinion. They didn't make a ton of additions here, but I think that's why I have Tampa over them right now, but I do have them making the playoffs. But I think good things are going to happen for Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons, so I cannot wait to see what happens there. I have them finishing second in the NFC South and making the playoffs. Third, I have the Carolina Panthers. I do not believe this is a playoff team, but I'm looking at some of their additions and extended players, and I am encouraged. Obviously, they re-signed Andy Dalton, who I think has been good for the growth of Bryce Young. We saw, as I mentioned in a previous video, we saw improvement for him towards the end of last season, and I look forward to continue seeing that improvement. They also signed Hunter Renfrow, linebacker Christian Roseboom. They extended cornerback J.C. Horn. They signed cornerback Mike Jackson. And I just think this is a team on the up, and I want to see how Bryce Young takes another step forward. Much of the talk over his first couple of years was he's a bust, and we finally started to see what we saw from him in college, what other teams saw from him, what Carolina saw from him out of the draft, and I look forward to seeing what more they can get out of him. Fourth is the New Orleans Saints, and there's one main reason for this. But first, what I want to mention is looking at the additions for the Saints. The first one on the list, and the first one that pops out to me, is Cam Akers, who just a couple of days ago tweeted about his release from the Saints before it became official. He is not with the Saints any longer. He was in the first wave of cuts. But they signed wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones. They signed Brandon Cooks, who used to be a member of the New Orleans Saints. They re-signed Chase Young. They re-signed Cam Jordan. But there's not anything too exciting here. And there's one particular reason why I have them finishing last. And that is that Spencer Rattler was just named the Week 1 starter against the Cardinals for the New Orleans Saints. And nothing against Spencer Rattler, but they drafted Tyler Shuck to be their quarterback of the future after the surprise retirement of Derek Carr, and Spencer Rattler beat him out for the starting job. And we've already seen what Spencer Rattler can give us. He was 0-6 a year ago as the starter, and he had 4 touchdowns and 5 interceptions with a QBR of 40. So there's nothing that gets me going about Spencer Rattler. There's nothing about the Saints roster that even remotely reminds me of the Saints rosters of the past. And this is a last place team if I've ever seen one. So that is the NFC South. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning it with Baker Mayfield continuing his career resurgence in Tampa, and a lot of people thinking he's going to end up leading the NFL in passing yardage. And by all accounts, that could be very possible with Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and all the reports. If there's one player that's been talked about in camp positively the most this offseason, it has been wide receiver Emeka Egbuka, who they drafted. So I think the prediction of him leading the league in passing is very possible. I think Atlanta is a playoff team at number 2. And Carolina, I think there's a lot of room for continued growth. I can't wait to see what Bryce Young does in year 3. And last but not least, because Spencer Rattler was named the starter week 1 over the first-round draft pick, I have to go with the Saints at number 4. Probably going to be one of the worst teams in the NFL. We've done 7 division breakdowns, 1 more to go. That is the NFC West. And we'll see you on the next video for that one. I am Roman Jr. of Empire Sports Talk. See you around.